Within every problem or crisis is the seed of the solution. I was recently reflecting on that when I was supporting a friend who's going through a transition. And I wanted to ask you, what's not working right now in your life? And what does this have to do with astrology? Well, I feel that this relates to the upcoming Capricorn full moon. You may be feeling the energy right now. It's going to be exact on Monday, June 29th, 2026 at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time. Uh, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. This is now a live with Joy. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. And I'm changing the focus of this channel to not focus only on astrology, but to dive even deeper into the spiritual and psychological support that I use astrology for. And I'm hoping that it'll resonate with more folks. I'm also going to be taking the time to interview more people about how they move from despair to joy on their spiritual journey. But I will still be doing astrology videos like this one, like the new moon and the full moons, and covering some of the transits as well. And this will probably be a pretty quick one. So I wanted to go back to that idea that inside every crisis or problem is the seed of the solution. That when we give ourselves permission to look for what can be the answer to what's not working, it's often inside of what we're trying to escape. And that may be the vibe of this Capricorn full moon. And I'm going to be looking at my notes from time to time. So when I look to the side, that's what that's about. And this full moon is a culmination of the previous Capricorn new moon that was back in January of this year. And I look back at my Capricorn new moon video from earlier in 2026, and I was talking about boundaries and foundation, or developing backbone. Like, where were the areas in your life where you had to strengthen your backbone or create a stronger foundation? And how has that been panning out? Are there things in your life that are not working? Because this Capricorn full moon, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that today. Maybe because we're in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. That's going to be stationing direct on the same day, the 29th, but I'll do a separate video on that as well. That'll probably be just an audio, most likely. And that same day, also on June 29th, we have Jupiter moving into Leo. And again, that'll be a separate audio video, most likely. But I want to focus on this Capricorn full moon. And because of some of the aspects, there may be a feeling of where you're noticing the constraints, what's not working. Maybe you had intentions from earlier this year and they have not panned out the way you thought they would. It could be a feeling of disappointment and that Cancer energy, because full moon is always the sun opposing the moon. So that sun in Cancer, which is the other side of the Capricorn sign, could be bringing up our feelings around what's not working, what's not going according to plan. We have Saturn ruling this moon, since Saturn rules Capricorn. But because Saturn is currently in its fall, it's not as strong. So even the limits or boundaries, they may not be as harsh as they typically would if Saturn had been in a stronger position. This full moon is also squaring Neptune and Saturn. So that may be where we're getting some of that feeling of like, this is not turning out how I thought it would. Neptune is fantasy, creativity, but it can also be delusions. Saturn, of course, is structure and boundaries, but sometimes it can be a hard stop with things. And at the same time, we also going to have Mars in Gemini. It's going to be conjunct Jupiter in Cancer. So with Mars in Gemini, it can be making it more clear how we're feeling about things. We may be able to find the words to express why things are not coming to pass. I think all of these aspects together, that's how they're working. All of that is leading to us having more emotional clarity around our will, our purpose, like that Mars aspect. What's out of alignment? I think this full moon is going to reveal where we're not being met. And because it's opposing the sun in Cancer, those feelings of grief and disappointment could be stronger, more intense. This could also be revealing Well, my experience is that sometimes when you have a disappointment where things don't work out, like maybe you wanted a certain job or a certain relationship, or maybe you were looking to move to a certain house or a certain neighborhood, and then it didn't come to pass. Like you thought everything was on track, you thought you were going to get the big yes, the green light, the go ahead, and for some reason it fell apart at the last minute. This Capricorn full moon can be revealing where things have fallen apart in the last few weeks or the last couple of months or even in the last few days. And there is disappointment, there's sadness to move through, grief around that. But what I have come to learn is that when these things happen, that grief can open up a new space. Our heart can become soft enough to really help us see what the deeper longing is, the secret desire we truly had. Like sometimes we want a certain job or a certain relationship or a certain place to live because it's how it's going to look to other people, or we think it's what other people expect of us. I think this Capricorn full moon is going to reveal to us where we have been doing things that look good to other people, but it's not really the true desire of our heart. Um, it's going to help us tap into that spiritual aspect of Capricorn, which I often think of as nature. Since Capricorn is an earth sign, feeling grounded. And when you connect to nature, like trees, you feel that connection to nature, but you also feel that spiritual connection to the divine, God, higher purpose or source, the cosmos itself. Um, I think navigating this Capricorn full moon with that attitude, that approach of being willing to be grounded in your spirituality and in nature itself, going back to nature. So if you are grieving something, maybe on a walk or at a park, you can actually just talk to the tree, hand the grief over to the tree, or imagine sending that grief into the earth. I used to do this all the time, especially when I was working a day job where I had to like take the bus to and fro. And one of my bus stops was at this really nice like office park where there were a lot of great trees. And near the bus stop, there was this really big, beautiful tree. And I would like just put my hand on that tree and I would talk to it and I would say, just take away this sadness, these feelings, these disappointments, and I'm going to give it to the earth and ask the earth to recycle that energy for the greater good. And you can do that at any point. And this Capricorn full moon is a great time to do those kinds of exercises. Um, it's going to ask us to be honest with ourselves emotionally. And it's also going to give us the space to hand that over to higher power, to source, to God. I think it'll be easier to navigate if you're willing to release those disappointments and if you're willing to be honest about what is the true longing, the true desires of your heart. That most of what is falling apart because it's ultimately not serving your soul's purpose. It's not in alignment with what God wants for you, what the divine wants for you, what's most likely higher and better for you. That's my intuition around how this Capricorn full moon is going to play out for people. Like I said, this is a pretty brief one. I'm going to have my offerings down below. I am offering one-to-one sessions. I have a 30-minute that helps people tap into their joy, how to move from despair to joy. That's 30 minutes. I also have a 90-minute session as well. And I'm also going to be looking at some other ways to support people as well. And so keep an eye out for that. I might have additional links to other programs. I'm looking at a potential mentorship to offer to people. If you're curious, feel free to email me. I will have my email down below in the comments. And but basically, I just wanted to come in and share with you this Capricorn full moon. July has some interesting and significant astrology, so I'll be going over that as well over the next few weeks. And I'll also have a couple more interviews for you in July with people, so stay tuned. I do look forward to doing those interviews and being able to give more examples to people about how you can move out of despair to joy, which is why I wanted to rename this channel Alive with Joy. I want to help people feel more alive and embody being fully alive in their joy, because that was a journey I took from myself. If you got value out of this video, please do like, the video, please subscribe to the channel. Please share the video. That does help me get the word out to more people. And with that, I'm just going to ask you to always remember to honor the light within you.